Hello, stream, and welcome to the Big Sky Conference playoffs. This is the Harry Jerry Power Hour, and today we have ourselves a game versus University of Montana here from Flagstaff, Arizona. I am the Gooseman TV.
Yeah, I'm going to meet Jerry. I'm going to meet colorcaster for tonight, and it's going to be the first week of the semifinals or week 8, however you prefer it. And it's going to be University of Montana, and should be a fun game. Off the bat here, we're looking at some picks and bans. And I mean, University of Montana over here on the right side, picking off the Camille. They do not want to see that Comma Birds Camille. And looks like I don't really know about the bans from our side. Got to say,
They're rolling out the Garen ban, Jerry. That combo on Garen is just
but
too powerful.
they're actually banning out the Darius here, which is really interesting because we actually usually see 2 to 3 jungle bans for Funbari Onsen because of how much he plays and how well he does and contributes to the gameplay of the map. So we're actually seeing some top lane bans. So it might be an Evelyn ban here for the last one, and if not, we might actually see an Evelyn for this game, which is Funbari Onsen's main champion here. But we'll see here what comes out.
Zeri, just a very powerful pick in the bot lane, very mobile, and has a ton of excrementing damage.
Yeah, just a lot of good roaming potential even too. And Morgana, interesting. Um,
Well, it's not going to be the first pick, but let's just find out where exactly we're headed into this first round of champ picks.
yeah, it's really interesting here because we're seeing a lot of bans that we don't normally see from the enemy teams. We're mostly targeting the top lane here for Kama Bird. However, there is so much that he can play. He does not care. However, his stats on the Darius are very strong.
The
But
Vagar.
we are going to have a sub today for the support, and Night Saint is going to be playing mid lane for Net, which is now going to be dropped down into support role. And Night Saint does play that Vagar. He enjoys him very much. We actually got to see it last weekend, and he did very, very well. So a lot of hype, I guess, surrounding around this Vagar, and to see, it's a nice, easy, safe pick in the mid lane. Very high damage, really good team fights. Just a nice press R, delete whoever you decide. Very, very nice. But Jaguar, or yeah, on the Hecarim here, just a nice, good champion, just like overall, just a nice tank. Does a lot of damage, a lot of sustain, a lot of speed. More speed, more damage with that passive, and there it is, the Evelyn. Funbari Onsen just gonna slide in, just be like, oh hey, you forgot to ban this. Let me just show you why, you know, and as well as the Yumi. Now, let me tell you why this right here is an extremely scary comp. You have 2 one-shot champions and 1 champion Evelyn here who's invisible. Yumi attaches on. Yumi is also invisible. Evelyn has speed boost, has AP, extra AP, has healing on top of the already passive healing, and so it's 2 champions sneaking up on you and like that, and you're just a one shot. Even Evelyn just by herself can just one shot you anyway. But when you have a Yumi just extending that AP lead and also having another stun in the kit just makes it so scary.
Yeah, I hear you, Jerry. This Yumi is going to be a playful kitty, especially when we go into these team fights. Yumi just being able to provide so much sustain and a little bit of boost from her items will give, maybe if we see the Staff of Flowing Water come out, it could even give Barionson a little bit of extra AP to do extra damage this game.
Yeah, and it's just just a combo champions that here for Fun by Onsen here, just with the Yumi is just so strong.
But
And
let us see. As the final round of bans come out, NAU has themselves a very nice playoff composition for this game. I mean, also on the side of University of Montana, they did manage to pull out the Janna, who's going to be able to lock down any type of hard engage with her ultimate, the Moonlight, or what's it called? Oh goodness, I don't remember the name. Monsoon?
I'm not sure actually with this
Janna
ultimate.
R literally has the most giant area of effect CC that you can imagine. So it's interesting to see what University of Montana wants to pull out today.
Yeah, I mean, we're actually going to see the bans from University of Montana here is actually going to be that set, which is going to ban out the Kama Bird's top 3 champions that he does play. And so with the set gone, you're just going to be see something that he normally maybe doesn't play, but also is still very comfortable on it. Obviously, he does play a lot of the top lane. And just it's more of a blind pick here into the top lane. They did both teams did save the top lane for the last pick, and looks like we're having a bit of Aatrox Kennen here. Both very, very fun champions to cast. Very, very fun champions. Very aggressive. A lot of good team fighting capabilities. A lot of Aatrox has a lot of sustain, but I guess they're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, Kama Bird is going to be very comfortable coming into this game with the Wukong. Let's see what he's up against. He did end up with the first pick in the top lane, so he could get easily countered by this final pick. We'll have to see. But Wukong going to be able to provide NAU with a lot of fights that are very favorable, especially when you have Wukong who can extend a fight backwards or just go forward with his, I forget what it's called too, the Wukong R. But it does a lot of knockups that gives NAU just this giant chance to go in on anybody that gets in the way of the giant Wukong monkey staff.
Another thing I'd like to mention here is we actually have the Vayne Yumi combo going on. So I mean, like, with Mordekaiser and Hecarim being picked here, this Vayne is going to do massive damage, going to shred the tanks if they even let the Vayne get even just go even. And so to be so careful about that. You know, NAU doesn't really have much of a tank. They do have Wukong, who does have a bit of a sustain, especially with the Divine Thunder. However, they're going for full-on damage here, one-shot comp. You know, just so much damage possible. And then, you know, University of Montana here has that Hecarim, has that Mordekaiser, do a bit of tankiness going on. Mordekaiser's more of an AP kind of tank. With the Death Realm, with his ultimate, being able to isolate one person out of the fight. But with the comp that NEU is going for here, you know, if Mordekaiser is not ahead, he's gonna have a hard time fighting every single one of these champions except for obviously Yumi. And it's all these champions can actually fight him if he's not ahead. Uh, so it's quite interesting here to see actually the Mordekaiser being picked, especially into something like Vayne, who will just absolutely shred him in team fights when he is up in the front line.
Yeah, Vayne is a really interesting pick here. Coming out from net, he's trying to give himself a bit of an opening once this game kind of draws itself out. But in the mid game, Vayne being able to stack three autos onto someone like Hecarim or Mordekaiser, who are going to be the front lines for the side of University of Montana, those three stacks do a wonder of damage. And if you're able to put them down at the best opportunity that NAU has, they'll be completely able to eliminate the frontline engage to not make it so damaging, as they are full of very squishy characters. But the one interesting caveat to that is that Evelyn, who will be invisible during half the time, she doesn't need to take damage if she's not being seen to take that damage. And if she's going to be invisible and just waiting for anybody on the side of University of Montana to present themselves, that's going to be NAU just rolling through this map, as there's just not going to be any way to play around that if Evelyn gets fed.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. You know, Evelyn is a hyper carry. Evelyn is the carry for this match, with you know, Veigar and Vayne being those secondary carries. But
say it ain't so, Jerry. Say it ain't so.
you know, but you know, it's super scary to be in lane CSing and just get one shot by something invisible. Very, very scary. You know, so it's, you know, Evelyn is one of the few champions in the game that is that even if they are behind, they can still get ahead with the ultimate, having that execute, that last caress, just telling them when you can execute, and you can even use it for movement, getting out of fights, getting into fights. You know, it's like a flash, but a lot bigger and does damage. It makes it very, very strong champion, a lot of versatility going on. And, you know, like you're saying before, they don't really need much of a front line if they're going to be going for one shots, high damage potential, and they have quite a bit of sustain. You know, someone like Vayne, who's going to probably build that Bloodthirster, or even the Shield Bow. You have the Yumi getting the heals off, and then, you know, Veigar, who can sustain by himself with just how much damage and how much CC he has, and Evelyn, who can actually back off, go invisible and heal up with that passive, and Wukong just with the Divine Thunder just being able to sustain in a fight. And you know, it just makes it they know the team doesn't tanky, but they can sustain and they can keep fighting for a while.
And before we get into it, Lysandra being in the mid lane up against Night Saint, this is huge for the side of University of Montana. They've managed to put a anti-assassin character into their composition. If Evelyn does get caught out, it's going to be by Lysandra, and Evelyn will not be able to move, as Lysandra's ultimate will just lock her down completely in place.
The only other thing to that is as long as Evelyn is not already ahead, because you will get one shot in less
like
than
I
a
said,
second.
if you can't see, you can't lock her down.
But as we got out of this 3-minute spectator delay, we're going to look at those runes, those summoner spells, and see if we see anything interesting out of anything out of ordinary, as well as those first items being picked. And as we loads here, it's taking a minute. There it is. And really just off the bat here, Just off the bat, we don't have that Jet Jaguar on the phase rush. You know, it's been pretty common lately. Predator is another thing you can build as well as Conqueror, but having that phase rush, 3 separate attacks gives you a little bit of boost, which is really nice. Um, and it really just overall just pretty standard. Just runes just all around here. Nothing really crazy in the items that are interesting. I mean, you have you have the mid laners, the AP mages, just with the electrocute, 3 separate attacks, a little bit of lightning bolt going on, a little bit extra damage, always nice. That does get quite a bit of damage. But 5-point vision coming on for both the teams. Both teams not really wanting to make anything too crazy come out, and they just want to play a little bit safe this first game and see how well it goes.
University of Montana bringing out the Conqueror on Mordekaiser. Looking like they're trying to get first rounded. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, looks like both junglers here are going to be starting on that bot side there with blue and red buffs respectively, and they're going to be meeting up towards the top lane around the same time, assuming they have about the same clear and no one skips anything, which means they might actually fight at the Scuttle Crab, which could make for an interesting fight going on, and maybe even a first blood if it already hasn't happened.
We could also see some dabbing going on from Fumbari Yonsen, as he will be trying to track the enemy jungler as much as possible this game so that Jet Jaguar just doesn't have the speed to get to these plays.
Yeah, I mean, that's also in the mid lane. We actually don't see any Dark Seals going on. Just some typical, Doran's Ring. We got some health potions there, but or some corruption potions. But yeah, no, I'm surprised. They're not trying to go for a big play and just go for a Dark Seal and try to get some AP with some kills. But Kama Bird.
Look at Kama Bird. He's got the level 1 advantage. He uses the level 1 advantage, and I'm sure he's making his family real proud being able to get those trades off.
Yeah, I mean, just trying to extend his lead at least as quickly as possible with the Wukong having such a great early game level 1 advantage, especially over someone like Mordekaiser, who does need all 3 of his abilities to really be really strong. It's it's just gonna be trying to do as much damage and try to do as much poke as possible. Try to dodge those abilities, get some auto attacks off, go back, take the CS lead. But looks like both junglers are actually gonna be doing either full clear or at least attempting to do it here. As they're both gonna be about their 4th camp, and looks like they are gonna be coming out at pretty much at the exact same time. So it might be for an interesting fight or a smite battle over the Scuttle Crab.
But yeah, Jet Jaguar is running through the camps, but no lane that could really put down something for him. Looks like Lissandra is going to get a ward into the side of NAU. Wukong can't really respond to that. Neither can Veigar. So now NAU solo laners just kind of have to let her walk right in.
Yeah, no, especially with the Oracle lens actually down for Fumbari Yonsen there, they're actually going to know exactly when he finishes that blue buff, and which means that it's just a little bit extra information for
enemy jungler.
Yeah, for enemy jungler, sorry.
And it looks like Cinderhook, it does have level 4 over Kama Bird here. That's a little bit surprising, but not going to be the defining state of the game for the top lane. It's interesting, but I don't know. Evelyn did just kind of grab the scuttle in the river, and Hecarim didn't even want to contest it, so it's really interesting to see where this is headed. Oh, the pullback comes through for old Kinderhook. Gets to flash away, and now we see a little bit of action coming out from the top lane, but nothing too devastating.
Yeah, it's also just pulling the flash out, is always nice against a laner. You might not, you're not going to get the kill. Mordekaiser being very tanky. However, just pulling the flash out means that you have an opportunity to try to gank again in the future, and he does not have that movement. But
looks like we do see ourselves with a little bit of a advantage from the Jet Jaguar here. The enemy jungler for University of Montana does try to get the Krugs, but Fumbari Yonsen's here to fight, and he's now up against 3 people. Net going to flash right in, get himself a kill onto the Vayne, and now Neyumara can't flash over the wall. Jeb is now fighting off with Piccolo and Net here, but that's a triple kill going over right to Net for his little pockets, so he can spend it at the shopkeeper when he goes back. That is impressive.
So Evelyn Fed is scary, but also so is Vayne. You're going to get auto attacked to death like crazy. It's having just just Vayne is one of those ADCs that is one of the scariest ones to go against when fed, and especially you have a 5-minute triple kill. Is Piccolo doing great job to give those kills off, and obviously you saw Funby Onsen there to actually stop Hide. What not sure. I'm gonna call it Hide for now, and so they didn't come down and try to contest it all, and was able to cause the back and the teleport.
Teleport's always good, but not going to be anything going on until these lanes are over, Jerry.
Yeah, no, it's just a little bit of a snoozer in the top lane. Just actually, Calmer Bird, absolutely massive CS lead out here at 6 minutes. Just really just showing off that early game Wukong, how much damage he can do, especially when you have that Sheen going on. It's really just making Mordekaiser not even able to even walk up to the minions to get the CS. Just really just trying to bully as much as possible. Hits at level 6, early, so there goes the Mordekaiser has to back off really far because that ultimate will shred him to pieces.
We are aware of the sound audio thing, so we will get to working on it, but for now, just to enjoy the game.
Some pings going down onto Hecarim. He is going to be spotted out by that first dragon of the match, which is going to be that Cloud Dragon, but no wards were put down. He was simply just walking around, maybe looking to catch Funby Onsen out, maybe. But just a little check from Night Saint to see what was going on. But it looks like just really just some back and forth. Bot lane playing a bit more back, especially with the range that that Net has on that Vayne. It's not super far, so they're going to be able to. They don't want to get too close, but they don't have to play so far back. However, we might be looking at a possible dive or even a red buff steal here coming from University of Montana. Net's going in. He's going to hitting Jaguar down, almost killing Jaguar, but.
Oh, it looks like a big fight's breaking out. Lissandra getting caught out by the Veigar R, and that's going to be Net healing up during that fight while Jet Jaguar try to get a kill inside of Funbarion's jungle. That's tilting for University of Montana.
Yeah, no, they spent 4 of them to actually go into the jungle, and Jaguar actually almost gets 4 auto attacked by Net. Was able to get healed up. However, as soon as Funby Onsen was able to show up, then it was just it was just over. And then there's 2 more kills going over to NAU, extending their lead just a little bit more. They have about a 3,000 gold lead here, sitting at 8 minutes, sitting very, very nice. Vayne with 2 assists, 3 kills. It's they're doing very, very well here, and especially with we have Funby Onsen with the 1-0-3 with the 5 stacks on the Dark Seal, has had the Dark Seal for every single assist and kill, which is quite nice. However, Janna coming up behind.
Neymara is looking to get a big CC off. Not going to happen. Also, big shout out to our producers. Anyways, with that being said, we have ourselves a 5-0 lead into this game. NAU takes this playoff game at a very hot start.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Funby Onsen's going to get a little retaliation here. You're going to invade my jungle and unsuccessfully do it. I'm going to invade yours and get it for free.
Look at old Kinderhook fighting within this Mordekaiser R. Kama Bird is getting real close, and Funbarionsen is here to finish him off. That was a close call for Kama Bird, but not surprising as Kama Bird always comes out on top.
Did you see what that the Death Realm was actually canceled? Kama Bird ulted and canceled the Death Realm with the Unstoppable.
An immediate cancel by Kama Bird.
Yeah.
This guy's playing to show off.
Yeah, no, he's just using that Wukong to his full advantage against the Mordekaiser, stopping the Death Realm. It's very possible that he might have died while in that Death Realm because the Funby Onsen might not have been there in time to actually help secure that kill. But he's actually going to be able to pick up some tower plates and then get a nice back going on here.
That paid off in dividends for the side of NAU, and now they're looking to go back to their bases, grab their items, get some power spikes going as Funbarionsen needs to get his items before he starts doing massive combos off. Looks like NAU's top laner over here getting himself a Caulfield Hammer and a Kindle Gem, which is just going to be able to give him a big stat boost in the lane.
Yeah, no, the thing I wanted to mention too is actually, remember you seeing the Immortal Shield Bow coming from Vayne, help with that sustain, get a little bit extra healing, be longer in the fights. Not going for the Kraken Slayer for that third auto attack true damage because you only have true damage at the third auto attack for Vayne. So, it's you don't need another one, so it's just better just to go for some life steal and attack speed there instead of just more true damage. You're already doing so much damage anyway. But
Yeah, and it's always an option, but big option right now for 19. Does he flash over the wall? He goes for it. Looks like Jet Jaguar manages to miss the cage, and that still messes his ability to keep the play going up as he still got stunned through the traveling time. Now Fubarion's here to finish off Hyde for what he started. That's Hyde getting himself real low. That's going to need a lot more autos, but it just comes down to Fubarion's Q, and he gets himself a nice 2 pieces in the mid lane.
Yeah, those hate spikes, you know, you got to watch out for them. You know, that's
The
bird.
big Wukong staff comes through. That's that extra range he needs, and now we are getting into this game into the snowball mode.
Yeah, just showing off that Wuju technique to its full advantage there, just taking out a Mordekaiser by himself.
Now Fubarion's caught by 3 people, has to get out. Nobody wants to follow Fubarion's, as now the bot lane can return a big kill or play onto them, and they decided not to test their limits.
Also, while that was happening, there goes top lane tower at 11 minutes. Just you know, just gonna back get a Divine Thunder and continue that lead. Just absolutely just extending this lead just so far. We're nearing that 10,000 mark here. We're at about almost 6,000 gold ahead for NAU, and it's only 12 minutes into the game. You know, a lot of tower plates are down. You know, just very, very. There's not really a whole lot that University of Montana can actually do to actually catch up here. Maybe try to get the rest of these dragons. They did pick up that first one, which is very good. You know, try to get some more Rift Heralds, which we do see pings going down for Fubarion's there to try to take a tower, take some plates before they go down, as well as they try to make these team fights, you know, make a little bit better. You know, try not to get caught out too fast. But when you're going against a comp like this that NAU has, it's the one shots and the damage is so strong. It's hard to be a tank.
That's the problem right now. Damage is on the side of NAU. Jebby trying to get away from Net's 3rd stack, but Neumara actually pulling up with the Monsoon, getting that heal off and the push. It gets them right off of their bot lane, and University of Montana now looking to get a little bit of a foot back into this game in the bot lane.
Yeah, no, it's they are playing a really safe. You know, obviously this Vayne just doing so much damage. You know, Net here is trying to sit in the bush, trying to get some cheese off, trying to get a quick kill, but however, it's, you know, they are playing very, very safe, and especially when you have that Janna ultimate there to push them away, get away from me, you know, get out of the auto attack range.
No possibility of Piccolo getting out of here. Unless Night Saint is there for the E. Saves it for the last minute, but Hyde is still doing a lot of damage over time. It came down to the corrupting potion, and Piccolo must feel very depressed after that. Now it's Net, though, grabbing the kill onto Lissandra. That 3-stack passive, the shield bow. Now everything's working in Net's favor. He's getting the dodges out. He gets himself a double kill off that. But the Jinx Rocket did come through. Fubarion's goes backwards to try to get Neunara here. And he ends up ultimately with the kill. Now Kama Bird is fighting. They're in the shadow, I promise you that.
Oh, they're okay.
And Kama Bird does end up close to that. Top lane kill, but they don't end up giving it over to Old Kinderhook. But what a big fight that broke out in the mid lane.
And I'd like to mention too is that the last caress coming from Fubarion's actually go backwards. You know, not using the damage at all, but to catch up back up to Neunara there to actually get the kill. You know, it's just you know, showing, you know, just a lot of that movement that Evelyn does have that not a lot of people know about. Just using that to the full advantage there.
It is a true testament right now to NAU's ability to keep going through this game and roll away these abilities and just put them all to use. Now Knight's going to go with his cage to try to get the bot lane off the dragon. Fubarion's gets himself a sweet red Infernal Drake, and it's getting hot in here, especially for the side of NAU.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see that Mountain Soul is going to be coming up, making everyone a little bit tankier. This is a soul that would be very beneficial for University of Montana. However, they do have to pick up 3 dragons to get it. You know, having that extra tankiness for a team that is trying to one-shot you does help, but you still have to secure those dragons.
Yeah, the dragon's going to be a huge focal point for University of Montana. They will be able to get themselves the soul and then translate that into just huge grouping advantages. As if they get it, though, Jerry.
Yeah, no, they do still have to get it. However, Common Bird picking up that Quicksilver Sash, gonna get out of that death realm whenever possible. You know, it's not a good place to be. You know, it's being alone in a fight's not great, and especially when you are still in lane with Mordekaiser. You know, the Quicksilver Sash is very, very nice to have. But Funbari Onsen, 15 stacks on the Magi Soul Stealer, absolutely massive right now. But they're gonna pick up an objective bounty here. They're gonna be able to pick up that that Rift Herald. You know, be able to drop it, get some extra actually damage on a tower, and possibly another objective bounty to try to catch up even just a little bit here.
University of Montana does want to catch up here as much as possible, but they're only going to be able to do that through very high engages and picks. Net pulling off the ultimate from Vayne and just getting himself out of a very slippery situation, enough to even scare the crap out of NAU and make her Monsoon. Now Common Bird's fighting for the turret while inside of the Death Realm. Old Kinderhook needs to get that hook right through his big forehead, and now Common Bird just getting absolutely smashed by Jet Jaguar. Gets him away from the kill, but Common Bird, he is thinking on his feet right now, and he's trying to get Jet Jaguar out of here.
Yeah, Common Bird was actually okay with the 1v2 there. Funbari Onsen was coming to pick up any kills.
Oh no, Lissandra. Big damage.
Oh.
Hyde actually lives, and he even had a little shield coming out from Janna, but big miss over, big miss by Night Saint over that kill.
Nothing missed technically. It was mostly just that 10 extra health was just that's all he needed. Just 1-2 more AP, and that kill was secured. However,
a TP play coming out. Unleashed teleport has been unlocked. Old Kinderhook has himself a double kill in the bot lane, and so is Hyde there to try to get this game back into the hands of University of Montana, while the top bot lane turret hold on with 1 health point. That is a big reversal.
Yeah, I mean, but while that was happening, you saw Common Bird actually be able to pick up the second turret in the top lane. That Rift Herald is going to be dropped down in the bot lane, picking up another objective bounty for University of Montana here. Night Saint is going to be on standby, waiting for them to come up so he can try to defend it and try to pick off Shelly before they get a second charge over on tier 2 bottom turret.
Yeah, I think NAU has really put a lot of focus on their top lane here. It's been able to do work, but Old Kinderhook almost dying to the Evelyn here as one auto will kill him. And Funbari Onsen does have the Q ready, always available, and it's getting them a lot of map pressure as now bot lane has to return to the base, try to get these lanes pushing, but wow, I mean, NAU with their top and jungle are the dynamic duo for this game.
Yeah, and I mean, Mordekaiser trying to catch up somehow. He's actually going to go full tank for this game, and I mean, it's just getting caught out by Common Bird and Funbari Onsen just nonstop, trying to keep him behind. And while Common Bird just, when Mordekaiser's dead, he's back down, just trying to take another turret. Night Saint, however, looking down, maybe try to take that auto attack that turret down the bot lane, try to take another turret, but the dragon is up in a minute, so it looks like a little bit of setup for University of Montana here.
Like I said, that dragon is a big focal point, especially for both of these teams. It's not going to do all the wonders on NAU, but just being able to deny them is just going to be able to let this game go into the late part of the events. Yet, is it going that far, Jerry? Top lane has completely lost tier 1 and tier 2 towers, and mid lane and bot lane for the side of red is missing their tier 1 turret. Now NAU is going to get found by Funbari Onsen. And like I said, that is a big detriment to the progress that University of Montana is trying to make.
Yeah, I mean, Funbari Onsen, 25 stacks in the Magi Soul Stealer. It's going to be building that Rabadon Death Cap next. Is absolutely massive. So much damage.
And the ultimate comes out from Yuumi to lock down Lissandra. Nobody has the range, and the cage is going to miss. But NAU just doing a little bit of limit testing as this game is going to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be able to, they have priority over this dragon big time. It's, University of Montana.
Priority,
yeah,
actually.
University of Montana has to go through everyone to even just try to even touch the dragon here. And so they're just going to be able to get a free dragon here while University of Montana is just going to try to take some CS, trying to push in some lanes a bit. However, Mordekaiser does need to be a little bit careful. He is going to be alone again.
Yeah, Mordekaiser trying to get this turret, open the top lane, and maybe get some push in, get some minions. It's all nice and dandy for old Kinderhook, but one thing's missing from old Kinderhook, and it's his hook. He has no damage coming into these fights. And I think the one big target that he wants to find is Net, but Net has the 3-stack passive on him, and even if Net wants to, he could go QSS and just eliminate all that Mordekaiser would want to do this game.
And actually, with that back after the dragon, we actually see Funbar Onsen picking up that Rabadon's death cap. Doesn't even have a full completed sorcerer's boots here yet. Just going for the damage. You don't need the speed if you're one-shotting people. But the ping's going down on the Rift Herald from University of Montana as NAU does start it here. Ping's going down. They're going to be looking for a fight. So, I mean, NAU here is forcing a Baron. Either they're going to get a Baron or they're going to try to take a team fight.
They can look to turn this. They have a huge advantage, but Hecarim is one champion that, you want to be on the lookout for because he could bait out a lot of big fights. Net actually does get caught by Mordekaiser here. He has to fight through his Death Realm. And now Hyde is coming in to return the play. It's going to be Hecarim to finish the follow-up, but that's not going to get him anything. Now Kama Bird's here with the giant spins. He is spinning to win right now with a triple. And NAU Nara just kind of playing with the wind.
Yeah, I mean, and so that spin to win right there, that ultimate, just so much damage in T-fights. It's so scary to go against. And so in this one-shot comp that NAU is going for here, it's just so strong having so much CC from your top laner who is actually so far ahead. TP is going to be coming out. They're going to be looking.
NAU is big. They're purple.
Yeah,
and they're also mean.
They're looking to try to take this, try to end here if at all possible. Try to end it before it hits that 25-minute mark.
Yeah, NAU is mean as hell. They're going for another turret. Make that an inhibitor. That is a lot of objectives to try to take away from the University of Montana base. Can they go for the tier 4 towers that protect them from the Nexus? It's looking dire.
Yeah, University of Montana is struggling just to even try to walk up because they do not want to get one shot.
Oh, that's going to be Funbar Onsen finding a kill on a Jinx. Didn't even need to ult that Proto Belt, just gave him the combo he needed. Old Kinderhook flashing backwards again. You're supposed to go forward. And it's now going to be the siege for the tier 4 turret.
That top turret is going to be being sieged by minions.
Oh, brings him in. Kinderhook does have the hook. And now Funbar Onsen's low. He's looking close to dying, but he gets out. Night Saint holding it down with the cage and his other abilities that make him the summoner that he is. Night Saint survives with the Yumi's clutch. I wish I could get excited about that, but Yumi, little kitty plays too much.
Yeah, not a single
and
member.
the Death Rocket can't even find anybody. Now Jarkor's going in with the unstoppable onslaught, but that's Net with the last hit that he needed to try to siege this base out. It is tense for the University of Montana side, but there's nothing they can do.
Yeah, not a single member of NAU died during any of that. The tower dive, just absolutely just a sweep there. There was no part that University of Montana was remotely kind of close. It sucks to say, but
well, when you look at the stat lines for this game, the KDAs on NAU side are running through the roof. That is a Vayne with 7 and 2 kills in 23 minutes in. Not what you want to see when you're University of Montana. It looks like they need their own hyper carries, because especially when it comes to Funbar Onsen, who had himself a perfect game.
Yeah, and it was just NAU just extending their lead and just keeping it the whole game. Using their one-shot comp there to just tear through them. And only 3 dragons even went down. It was pre-25-minute game. Great game for NAU and
a perfect game from the NAU top laner. Kama Bird.
Yeah, and it's gonna be as we go here. We're taking a quick break, intermission, before we go into the second game here, and we will be back for game 2 of for this best of 3 for semifinals.
Fear is the first of many foes. I do not tolerate cowardice.
Welcome back, viewers, supporters, all those that range through. This is the Harry Jerry Power Hour, and I am joined by Jerry here. This is the Gooseman TV, but we're just trying to get this stream on its way.
So off the bat here, look at the picks and bans. We're gonna see actually the first two bans, Camille and Darius, the same as last game. However, there it is, the Evelyn that should have been banned last game. That's why it's been banned every single time for this tournament, and they got to figure out why it has been banned.
Well, what do you know? Evelyn getting banned. I mean, it was a very hard carry to play around. So I think University of Montana wants to go with something a little bit more, we'll say, predictable or easier to play around.
Yeah, no. So we're actually going to see the Hecarim come out. It's fun by Onsen, having that, playing Evelyn, Hecarim, Karthus, a lot of those champions. Hecarim is he's one of his top champions here, and so it's very possible we could see a Zilean coming out from net, but we will see when these picks and bans do go through. However, Renata Glask coming in, first time that I have seen the appearance into this
In
Big Sky tournament.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've seen it. It's very possible it hasn't been picked before, but first time I've seen it. Having the handshake, that Q, to get the stun as well as push him whatever direction you want for short range. It's very very strong. In the bot lane, especially with someone like Swain, which could be mid lane. Could be the a nice mage in the mid lane. However, it still could be an ADC for the bot lane, or APC as it would be. But there it is. The Zilean I was talking about, Net's Zilean. We've seen quite a few times. We've seen this combo quite a few times from NAU, and just the combo is so strong. Hecarim gets freeze movement speed, gives him more damage. He gets to dive because when Zilean has that ultimate, he's able to dive in, resurrect him, bring him back up to half health, so he can dive under towers. He can just use that sustain that he already has in his kit to even just sustain the tower shots. So strong.
And Abrel also coming through for NAU. That is a huge pick, as it allows for the side of NAU to break through any shields that they might have on the University of Montana side. Thanks, Jerry. And just having Rel is tremendous for just really high engaged compositions like the one we see here with Hecarim, who's just able to blaze through any single lane he touches.
Yeah, but we see the Viego, be basically using that passive to be able to change into champions, use their abilities against them, except for the ultimate obviously, and as well as their items. So say Funbari Onsen is way ahead, super far ahead. They get an assist. Viego gets the kill, gets the assist, is able to turn into them and use all the abilities and items that they have on their advantage. So Viego is a great champion to have for if they ever are behind, to be able to turn into a champion on the enemy team that is super fed and use that against them. It's when we're going to call the Viego moment, using your own enemy teammates to kill the other teammates. It's going to be hoping to see at least a couple of them this game.
It's fun to watch, but I'm going to be truthfully honest here. Viego is either going to go a little bit tanky here or trying to rip through any tanks he finds in his face. Well, it could go either way, because Viego is really easy to CC down, and if he gets a little too overextended, NAU has this really defensive team composition just off the first 3 picks that just won't allow Viego to get those moments.
Yeah, and it's possible we do see another Wukong for Kama Bird, because they did ban the Camille, the Darius, as well as the Set again, his his most replayed champion. So it's possible we see another engage top laner that is not less of a tank but more of a bruiser. But Rumble, that is something you do not see very often.
In the mid lane, that is a really aggressive composition for the side of University of Montana.
Yeah, no, Rumble is one of those champions that is very, very hard to play. Very similar to Corki, however, it does have that overheating. As a nice champion, you can flex. You can play top, you can play mid, you can play jungle even. It's not that great anymore. They did nerf it very hard, but Rumble is still a very, very interesting champion here, which does beg the question of if Swain is actually going to be that APC for this game instead of going for that mid lane.
Yeah, Swain is being a little flex pick right now for the University of Montana side. They need that flex pick to try to get their way through. I would not like to cast an Alawi game, but I would love to play in one because Alawi is a fun champ to play against.
But it's going to be an Aatrox here. Just another engaged champion. The only problem with Aatrox is he does get countered by any sort of Grievous Wounds if he is not already ahead. If he is ahead, Grievous Wounds do not matter. But Aatrox being a nice champion, being able to go in, using all the CC and as well as the movement speed coming from the rest of the champions, Zillion speed boosting him up, being able to kite people out, hitting those nice sweet spots, getting the airbornes, just sets up for a nice ganks as well as nice team fights for all the damage to be coming out. Especially for someone like Samira, who has so much damage coming out that it's gonna be a lot of nice setups here for their.
Let's
for
go
their
from
carries.
the top to the bottom, Jerry, because this is crazy.
So yeah, off the bat, Swain is not APC. He's going to be that top lane here. Very, very interesting. It might know some sort of a niche pick here. You don't see that very often. There's not a lot of top laners that even have AP, but Swain is one of those champions that can flex, quite in 4 of the 5 lanes here. And we're going to have that Twitch and Renata Glaskin with the bot lane. But Swain in the top lane here, having his his stun with the grab to pull people back. You have the electrocute to be able to do a lot of damage, as well as the ultimate, kind of like very similar to Aatrox's, but however it does damage with people around in the area.
One of the key things I feel like you didn't touch on, most importantly, is that Aatrox is going to be up against a ranged matchup in the top lane. It doesn't do a lot of damage with the Swain autos, but it could be a little bit disastrous for Common Bird if he tries to focus on his CS, because Swain, who will be able to read his animations clearly, is going to be able to catch him during his attack sequence, and that's when Swain can instantly try to pull him in and then start pulling off those combos. So Aatrox going to have a bit of a hard time, but it should be not so hard.
I actually disagree. I think it's going to be an even fight here. Aatrox, his longest Q, his longest attack, has a bit of range, but pulling him in actually helps him because the next 2 sweet spots are actually close range, very, very close. And hitting the first sweet spot off the bat, then being pulled in or even going in yourself with your dash, it's you don't want to pull Aatrox in after he's already used his first Q.
Well, let me rebuke that by saying I think if Swain can interrupt his second Q off of the Aatrox, then Aatrox could have a little bit of a problem. It's hard to kind of disrupt him because Swain is going to keep trying to pull him in. He can't really pull him away like Renata can. So, very interesting the side of University of Montana right now, where they're trying to go with this game, because they don't have to worry about a hyper carry like Evelyn anymore. But there is a lot of team fight that's still present in the side of NAU that, you're never going to find those team fights onto NAU, but you can definitely find those picks, especially with the team comp like Twitch and Rumble, who are excellent at being able to catch and trap anybody they find.
Yeah, I'm actually really curious here about this, the Rumble here. You don't see that very often, like I mentioned before. He's a very, very hard champion. He's also not a very flashy champion, so you don't see him play too much because he's not, not super flashy like, someone like Viego or Swain, However, Rumble is still a very, very strong champion, and I'm excited to see here how well that actually Night Saint actually plays against Rumble here. But it's actually quite interesting here. I actually have Night Saint in the mid lane again. However, I figured it was going to be a Net in the mid lane with his Zillion. However, Net's going to be playing that ADC role again on the Samira.
Yeah, just because Net always did come out during the season with the Zillion, and he always performed with it. Those bombs were perfect. The bombs were perfect. I mean, the ultimates were perfect. So, it's a little bit disappointing that we're not going to have the top performer. But Night Saint is such a high caliber mid laner right now that I think Hyde is going to have a bit of a struggle when it comes down to the 1v1s, because when you have a Zillion can just bait you out so hard. and we will talk about the Renata here, who is huge coming into this game. It looks like NAU did get kind of a read onto this composition that any University of Montana was going for, but since Renata doesn't have to put somebody on the passive to try to get themselves back into the game with the Chemtech passive, it will be hard for her to try to get off all that she needs to do for the team. And since none of the side of NAU does have, none of them are relying on high DPS carries, they're just relying on outplay characters that will be able to hide and wait out all these abilities.
Yeah, no, especially like we see in the chat here, there are a lot of NAUs here is not even actually really auto attack champions or a lot ability based. So the only one that you really have to worry about is that Hecarim auto attacks. But it's the Renato is actually going to not do as much damage as that there is potential for it to do. However, looks like a possible invade here coming from NAU.
This is Big Sky quarterfinals. A big invade would set this game off to a blazing gun.
Double invade actually.
Looks like they are ready to prowl on each other. Could they pass each other? Could they get near each other? Could they just miss each other by a hair? I don't know. I'm getting excited, but it really won't be too much. It could go 50-50.
Yeah, I'm actually really curious, but like with the Aatrox, being so strong, it's their team fights in the beginning are going to be super, super strong. But actually, Calma Bird's going to back.
Calma Bird goes straight to the top lane. He's headed towards success. And it looks like University of Montana was headed for terrifying terror and absolute chaos, but they didn't go for it. I mean, like I said, 50-50.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they realized that Calma Bird is actually already gone. So they knew that they can't take the team fight with Calma Bird actually there with the Q up. So they tried to back off, but little did they know Calma Bird is actually backing to go check the blue buff there and is actually going to be leashing Funbar Onsen there.
And the first laners take their marks as mid lane goes for the minions. And now we get to see Hecarim, Funbar Onsen going towards the bot side path, and Jet Jaguar headed towards the top.
Yeah, no, it's really curious about this game. What's going to go on here. We have the Swain at the top lane. We have
Here's Calma Bird with the Q2, going for the Q3 on the minions. Old Kinderhook wants to get those grass procs off the entire lane, and that's going to get him a little bit tankier for those mid-game fights. Yet there is a lingering doom coming around Old Kinderhook, as top lane Swain isn't always perfect playing for University of Montana.
Yeah, especially when you're playing against someone like Aatrox, who is that lane bully. It's going to be a bit interesting, though, to see. Calma Bird does get that sidestep, does miss that that stun. However, if Old Kinderhook does opt for that that Oblivion Orb off the bat, it could ruin Calma Bird's game here for quite a while, unless he can try to get ahead her early and try to get an early kill.
I know Calma Bird can do a lot here. He is Aatrox, and Aatrox does have a lot of easy mobility that he can pull off. But when it comes down to it, I think Calma Bird is more focused on where his team is, where his jungler is, but he's also really ready to just go in on something like Old Kinderhook pushing him way too far under tower, which could easily happen.
Yeah, I mean, with Swain not having a whole lot of mobility, you get those chains off with that W, and suddenly Old Kinderhook's in a bad position with Aatrox jumping right onto you.
Wink.
There's
Old Kinderhook fighting off the Qs. That's going to be bringing him really low, but the minions are there to put Calma Bird in his tracks and not let that play continue. Piccolo going in onto the bot lane, and small trades coming out from both these teams, yet the big picture is still in everybody's minds.
Yeah, it's this is really just
another sweet spot. Kinderhook getting close to dying. His jungler was there, though, and Viego, who's ready to get on that play and start fighting, doesn't get to fight that play.
Yeah, I mean, even with Viego there, Swain was dead, and then suddenly Aatrox is in a 1v1 that he even favors himself.
But that is assumption, Jerry. We were there to watch. We were witnessing it all unfold, and yes, it is terrible to think about it, but look at Funbar Onsen returning that big gank where Viego was trying to be at. That is the TP coming in from Hyde here. And Swain also TPing. They did the double TP on the bot lane again. And now Net getting caught out by Twitch. That is a big early game advantage for them. They just managed to secure first blood, and now University of Montana playing real serious.
Yeah, I mean, first blood onto over to Old Kinderhook, as well as Twitch picking up a kill for himself. It's really good advantage here. Almost 1,000 gold that they are going to be ahead here at almost 5 minutes. But Comma Bird able to shove in that top wave. As Jet Jaguar is going to be missing his CS camps or his jungle camps, and has to hold onto the wave.
Oh, here's Night Saint with Piccolo on the mid lane roam. Hyde was not looking forward to this as he doesn't even have flash, and Comma Bird comes from the top too. Now Hyde is looking to hide his body as he is now in the gray screen after losing 1 kill in the mid lane to Night Saint.
Yeah, I mean, Comma Bird actually was able to pick that up, and which is actually great because with Old Kinderhook actually building that Oblivion Orb, Comma Bird's going to need all the damage that he can get here and try to so he can sustain in these fights with the reduced healing that he's going to have with that gem.
Dios mío. Comma Bird finding the perfect roam there to get this game back on track, as that early game did get a bit of things did start to turn for University of Montana.
Yeah, but it's still, University of Montana is still ahead just a little bit, about 300 gold. It's still definitely anyone's game here, but the first dragon is going to be coming up here, and it's going to be that Cloud Dragon again for the first dragon of the game. But
yeah, things are working out for the first dragon, and like I said, Viego just making sure that he's in the lanes that he needs to be. Right now, he is hovering bot lane. Could look to go on a net, and Piccolo here, as they are very weak in the early game. But Jeb not close enough for the kill or the W to slow him down, and that's going to give Viego an opening on the drag, but Net and Piccolo have to play their lanes a little bit safer.
Yeah, I mean, we also saw the handshake actually miss from Neonara there, so they're actually going to pull out this dragon, and they're going to actually stop it, as Zillion and Night Saint does actually come down, and they do not know where Fun by Onsen is.
Yeah, I think NAU did immediately respond to it, which could have not gone in their favor, since Viego just immediately called it off. It's a small win for the movement going into this map, but I think if University of Montana is focused on one thing, it's that they're on red side, and they could respawn to these fights so quickly if they're fully coordinated.
However, a little bit of invade coming over to get Jaguar's blue buff there. Piccolo giving up that passive, a little bit extra armor there.
Wow, they call off the blue buff because Jaguar did start zoning in. Like I said, they have these team fights available to them, but do they really want to go through with it on the side of University of Montana? Because they are playing against players who are really, really just trying to push them around.
Yeah, no, they still want this blue buff here, and looks like they're going to take it pretty much for free. You try to, actually he's going to finish off that smite with it. Actually, no, my bad. There's one more tick on that smite.
Oh, and Comma Bird needs some support up here as Kinderhook's got him under tower, but it dashes away. It is a close call, but nothing that Comma Bird cannot handle, especially in the playoffs for the Big Sky Conference. That's when Barrios with the Onslaught of Shadows. He's getting close, but the handshake, Jerry. Who is this NAU fella, and why is he so good?
Yeah, no, just stopping that Hecarim was, I mean, the Onslaught of Shadows went off, the Ghost was procced, and they just pressed one ability, canceled them both, and were able to actually walk out of that with pretty much no damage taken. With even with Night Saint actually coming down actually to try to get that speed boost off for Fun by Onsen, but does have to back because it was an unsuccessful gank.
And what do you know?
Very, very well.
They didn't even need the wards there to try to spot him out. They just put the ward down after the fact, and that's because they have this really good reaction time to these plays that Fumbari is trying to make.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to have priority for the Rift Herald, but I don't know if they're actually going to go for it here. They were collapsing in on it, but maybe they thought that Jet Jaguar might have been starting it.
I think Rift Herald is not too far into the future, but it's very close. Yet the first thing that really is putting a barrier between NAU and their objectives here is that Cloud Drake. They don't even want it, but they're really fighting for it. And now Kinderhook gets queued to death. Can't flash away from the death chains. Comma Bird ends up with the kill in the top lane. and that is a big advantage. He's going to be able to push the wave in, and he's just massive in terms of gold.
Yeah, especially with Jet Jaguar in the bot lane, he's going to be able to get at least one tower plate here. But it's showing that, hitting every single sweet spot there and showing that Oblivion Orb does not even matter when you do have it. When you have someone who's going to hit every single ability on that Aatrox against you. Especially when you have no mobility as someone like Swain.
See, that's why I wanted to see Alawi. Alawi would have been a fun thing to play against. Yet, old Kinderhook has to deal with sweet spots for the entire game. I mean, I think Common Bird Hits does.
Yeah, it looks like some vision is going to be set up for the Dragon there, as they might collapse in, maybe look for another gank and in the bot lane. Try to pick off Twitch before they try to even attempt this Dragon.
The thing about bot lane, though, is they are playing very safe. They don't have Renata here. Jeppy hides from the Fumbarionson in his shadow, but gets pushed right into the alcove. That is a big pick for Net and Fumbarionson here. Wow.
And actually, another thing to add is that Kama Bird, first mythic of the game, Gore Drinker, 10 minutes to be finished there, and is now sitting at a 32 CS lead, only at 10 minutes. Absolutely massive lead. Very, very scary with that Gore Drinker now available. Very, very fast mythic for this game. And the first Dragon as well.
So they managed to get themselves a Cloud Drake that's going to give them a little bit of movement speed and ability haste. Fumbarionson doesn't get the Rift Herald because Jet Jaguar decides to trade Cloud Drake for Rift.
Yeah, I mean, they have to try to get something out of it. Obviously, it's not a crazy trade, but with turret plate still up, it is
Bird,
nice.
though, is here. He's looking to spy on somebody that is in the wrong spot, but NAU doesn't have the find onto Jet Jaguar here, and Jet Jaguar is playing to try to get a pick here. Scrims are going off. Night Saint has full abilities. No Onslaught of Shadows from Barionson, but Hyde has a big fight here. Not going to get enough for Kama Bird. Now Jet Jaguar is in the back line as he's trying to get away, but he can't get out of the damage. And Hyde, who's also responding to this, didn't know that there was a Piccolo Rel there. And that is a big four-man clean up from the side of NAU. They are taking this game to the cleaners as of now.
Yeah, I mean, that was 4 kills across the map. And, obviously Kama Bird just showing off this Aatrox 4-0, doing absolutely massive work, using that Gore Drinker, and has to pull the teleport from Old Kinderhook here. Is actually going to look for it.
Now we're flying into the dive. Kama Bird flapping his wings. Kakai's a demon in the top lane, and now he's out. After Hyde tried to teleport onto the top lane turret, he gets himself a little CS, but no kills.
Yeah, but yeah, it's, Kama Bird picks up a kill and a tower plate there in the process. Does have to use flash, but Old Kinderhook did have to use that teleport to even try to stop the tower plates from going down. But the Rift Herald is still available for Jet Jaguar to place down, but it's hard to place down in any lane when every lane's being pushed and shoved in.
Yeah, NAU is just pushing the entire side of University of Montana around to try to find these new openings that they didn't have before. And it really shows off when Jet Jaguar is having a hard time to try to move on to the river. Fumbarionson, though, holding it down as Night Saint could look to try to recover from this possible turn. Fumbarionson getting a fight off with Net here. Net couldn't kill the first person with the Renata passive, but later turns that into a triple kill as Renata just didn't have the right opening.
I mean, really just showing this engaged comp with the 5-0 Aatrox and 5-1 Samira just proving to be so strong here. Second Dragon of the game is going to be that Infernal Drake, just a little bit extra damage, nothing crazy, but after that Dragon does go down, we are going to see that Soul for the match, which unfortunately will not be an Infernal Soul, but it will be still interesting enough that...
Unfortunately.
Oh, a little bit of...
Kama Bird finding a kill onto Neymara here. That's going to be the sweet spots. Kama Bird is so high in HP that Renata was never going to get a chance to come back into this fight. Jet Jaguar getting caught out during his whoops. And now Kama Bird is low, but High doesn't have the necessary means to get over the wall and finish him off.
Yeah, I mean, they do not want to follow up with a common bird there. You know, he could be sitting in a bush and suddenly get a bunch of health, as well as they saw that Funbari Onsen actually just picked up a kill near their turret and knows that he's on the way. So it's best to just back
What's
up.
this? Net in the bush versus a very squishy Twitch. That is the flash to finish off the very giant area of effect ultimate that Samira holds in her power.
Yeah, I mean, that's the second time that's happened that Twitch has stepped up and just died to a solo. It's literally
It's
can't
tilting,
do
Jerry.
anything.
It is very tilting. That is the AD carry that doesn't do the carrying, and it's hard to watch, but nonetheless, I think Jet Jaguar and Old Kinderhook are still playing for the win con here, which is just try to get into this game again.
Rift Herald actually about to go away. Seconds and could have passed, and that Rift Herald would have been gone. They placed that down pretty much at the last.
There's a
possible
bounty
second.
mid, and no, I don't think there's a world where University of Montana gets this bounty mid.
Yeah, I don't think they. They don't pick up the turret, but they are able to, pick up some damage on it. But they did hold that Rift Herald for way too long. They had to place it in an inopportune moment where they couldn't really capitalize a whole lot on it, unfortunately. But that's what happens when you hold on to the Rift Herald.
And Snidesate defending mid lane with his life and a little bit of extra with the ultimate. There's Kama Bird finding a tier 2 pick, but under turret, that is a toughie.
Yeah, I mean, this NAU here is just really just looking for picks. They're going to be setting up for this dragon, which just now came up, and Funbari Onsen on his way down. But Kama Bird actually going to be about to be surrounded.
That's
here.
Hyde finding an Everfrost to the face as Nightsaint goes in with a demon sacrifice. Kama Bird is here, but he's too far, and Hyde gets the kill onto the Nightsaint, gets himself back into the game with the kill, but not enough as Nara has stumbled across the river to try to get a ward and ends up with a Rel in her face. Now that's Funbari Onsen slaughtering the tier 2 and tier 1 turret range with his abilities, and it gets them 3 kills in the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, Ping's going down onto Twitch because he knows he's in trouble, so he's gonna get that back, and they're gonna start that second dragon of the match here, and as Old Kinderhook's just gonna be auto attacking away at that top lane turret, but definitely not enough damage there to even try to take it.
Yeah, Kinderhook being found in the top lane there with no TP. I mean, this is definitely not the top laner that University of Montana wants to have right now. They need someone a little bit more proactive on the map, and Swain is just not doing it for him.
However, Old Kinderhook might be getting caught out here.
Yeah, it looks like Zillion and Aatrox are on the prowl. Kama Bird getting ready to land that sweet spot as soon as he sees a chance. He dashes forward. Kinderhook gets caught by the Everfrost. Another bomb, and that's the Q2. That was so detrimental to this matchup, finding its way on Old Kinderhook.
Honestly, at that point, you might as well stick the back and hope to try to get it, because it already was partway through, and try to hope that they don't find you in the bush. But by moving, you cancel the back, and you show exactly where you are, because they weren't actually walking to that bush where Old Kinderhook was immediately, so he might have been able to get off the back, but decided to just show himself and just take the death, really.
Yeah, it's a small mistake that NAU just capitalizes on entirely, because where they're going with this game, it's clearly them trying to make a last effort to try to end up with the first round of the conference.
Yeah, no, it's also going to be picking up that Rift Herald, and they're going to be doing a big push here. They want to take a team fight. They have 2 dragons under the belt. You know, they have over 10,000 gold lead here, sitting almost 13,000.
And Old Kinderhook can't relax as he's trying to flash away. Onslaught of Shadow still connects, and Old Kinderhook is still fighting, but he doesn't get to fight anymore, as now the Renata Ul has come through to stop NAU in their tracks. They've gotten it a little deep, but Kama Bird slowly losing his life there. The Rumble oh no! The Rumble passive from his ultimate killed him, and now Funbari Onsen's fighting with Piccolo here. They don't have the DPS needed to clean them up here. Samir is too far away. But Jet Jaguar getting real close for a comfort as Funbari Onsen turns onto the enemy jungler for that. Renata trying to so desperately save her team. But Burnett is just crazy with the Samira. He's going to get himself a triple kill. He's just ripped through University of Montana. And that Rift Herald is going to be saved by Night Saint here as, oh my god, this push is going deep into the base of heart, or base and heart of University of Montana.
Yeah, no, that they were not all actually caused Kama Bird to actually kill Night Saint there, which was quite funny. But I mean, just talking about Net here, just walking in, just like, hey, I'll just finish this up real fast, and I'll push Shelly over into the next turrets, and I'll get us an inhibitor, guys. Don't worry, it's fine.
Yeah, I went pretty hard, and that fight was definitely close for University of Montana. They did have the area to be fighting in. They just didn't really have a follow-up for the Samira, who desperately needs all of the CC that University of Montana needs to get her to stop and just not do the damage.
Yeah, I mean, having 2 items in here at almost 20 minutes for Samira, 9-1, absolutely massive, and just an absolute powerhouse. Having that collector, in there as well, and having all that extra 10% lifesteal just from that the middle shield bow alone just makes it so hard to take down without CC. However, a quick Baron is actually going down as right as it comes up here. University of Montana is none the wiser here. They're
That
going
is
around.
a Baron going straight to NAU, and with that being said, I think their final push is on a schedule for NAU. Piccolo does find Hyde here, who wants to do a little bit of scouting, but can't really fully go through with it. And now Viego, who is in the bot side with no objective, looks to respond to the Baron play.
Yeah, I mean, with the Dragon coming up in about a minute, he's able to put down some wards, clear some vision out, and he's going to help push this bottom turret that Shelly did hit before. But teleports are unfortunately down for NAU, but it's going to be they're going to use some of that Baron buff, push that mid lane in a bit, and take a bottom lane turret, get a little bit of extra bounties here, and they're going to be looking for a big push here and big team fight down here in the mid lane, or even maybe looking for a drag and then a nice push to utilize this Baron buff as much as possible.
Yeah, and University of Montana just wants to defend as they have 2 turrets in the base that could really do number of damage to bring these fights to an even playing field. But the next drag is coming up, and I think Fumbarionson has his sights set. As Gold Kinderhook finds him, tries to put some damage down, but Fumbarionson returns with extra damage. Now the Onslaught of Shadow gets him to reposition in that fight. Jebby, give it up there as nothing can be done about the giant 4-legged pony running through your team. Hyde just getting the Protobell off, but that's not going to get him far enough.
Yeah,
now it's up to Kama Bird to siege this Nexus and get himself the first round of the playoffs in the Big Sky Conference.
You know you're in trouble when the Hecarim runs into a 1v4 and he's not even scared. He's just taking it, and suddenly everyone's dying. It's not
the
a good thing.
repositioning really helped him out there, and there's no way to read around that. You can't put someone over that wall. Yeah. Especially when Net is in the game, flashing into your base. He was 9-1 this game with a giant 1,000 gold bounty. You just love to see that kind of carry potential.